Hello and welcome to SideQuest podcast.
It is SideQuest.
I
This
didn't
is true.
forget
You're
the name
not
of the
wrong there.
podcast.
You're not wrong. That is true.
How's everybody doing this week? We missed last week. Sorry about that. Somebody turned off the power with their car
In the Great War.
in the Great War.
Briar's
the
Power
Great War.
Wars.
Battle had to be done. That was a pretty funny tweet.
The Great
I was like,
Power
perfect
Wars of
opportunity.
23. Well, I hope you got back at your neighbor for.
My neighbor is he's currently outside again washing the curb. He's got a spray bottle.
Really?
Washing the curb. I think I should ask him what's in there. Like, what do you wash your curb with? I don't even know. Bleach?
Pesticides.
Pesticides. That may be it, actually. Maybe he's just killing all the curb grass.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what
Getting
he's
your
doing.
drinking water.
Perfect. Starfield.
Yeah.
Starfield came out.
It sure
Have we all
did.
been playing Starfield? Is that what happened?
I think so, right? Watts, you played it a little bit. I don't know. Did you stick with it or did you bounce off it pretty quick?
No, I've been playing it.
Yeah.
Played it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, wow. What do you guys think?
It's a Bethesda RPG.
It sure is
Yes.
a Bethesda game.
It definitely is a Bethesda RPG.
So far.
It's so initially I was like, okay, I'm really liking the vibe of it all.
Yeah.
But getting into it and like learning all of the inventory and the UI and they're very bad. Very bad. The UI is really bad. The tutorials are really bad. All of that is really, really bad.
There's tutorials?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Like, I'm trying to remember because everything is definitely confusing and you just kind of got to
It's
learn
very
it.
confusing.
There
It really
are people
is.
who were like, I will pick this game back up when modders
immersive.
have fixed the UI.
I've
heard many people
with
say
the
that.
UI.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the UI
So
either.
the UI is like, really just simple thing. So when you go to your weapons, it says that you can favorite it.
Yeah.
And now to me, favorite does not necessarily mean quick slot. It's like if I've got a lot of weapons, favorite means that it just puts it at like the top of the list so I can find it.
Yeah.
If it said press this button to quick slot, then
or
I
it's
go
gonna play more weapons similar to the weapon I have, like in a playlist or something.
Yeah, based on the algorithm, your weapon playlist.
And like figuring out how to do like all the planet stuff because you go to the star map and then it's like go to the solar system and you're pressing all these buttons and it's just like which button is the button to just go? I just want to go there.
Yeah.
Go there.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to figure out. Today I was trying to land in like a spaceport or on a planet basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm looking at the planet. I'm like literally staring at the planet from my spaceship. And like, I know where I got to go. I got to land on this planet at a certain spaceport.
Yep.
And I'm like, how do I like hit the button that lets me like, bring up like the planet menu or like whatever so I can land? Because there's like several different places you can land. Finally, I'm like, oh, okay. Like if I hit the stick in this direction, it can rotate the planet and then I can see the spaceport that I want and select it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's what's interesting. I think that in general, I don't have a problem with the UI, UX.
Yeah.
However, because there's so many things, and Watts nailed it, there's a bunch of things, like both of those things are issues for me, where I'm like, it took some like, wait, that's how that works? And you just sort of get there eventually. And yeah, it makes me wonder how many people won't get there. They got to like Google it. And how many people like, well, it's immersive. I did want to mention on the weapon slotting and weapon comparison stuff in particular is not as well featured as it should be. I think like for a game that's a major thing. Comparisons, for example, but please clue me in if I'm missing it because I could be.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts that I get a new item and I go in. I'm like, oh, well, let me compare that to like one of my favorite slots, or a weapon. But probably your favorite slots in my case. So I get a new pistol. I'm like, oh, how's that compare to my new one? But I was on my other weapon when I went into the menu. So when I go to compare, it only shows you your equipped weapon. I don't think there's a way to just quickly cycle the weapon that you want to compare, which seems strange to me.
Not that I've seen. Also, I'd love to be able to sort weapons by ammo type because there's I don't know how many.
That would be
ammo
nice.
types.
You can do that.
Oh, you can?
Oh.
Okay, I haven't found that out.
Ammo type, you can do. Well, wait a sec. You can do type. Now you made me. I feel like that one's in there.
Okay.
But
Maybe.
now
Wait,
I gotta check.
I have to tell you
'Cause
something that
there's-
annoyed
Go
me.
ahead. Okay.
Because there's no I do not see any reason why this is a thing. So you can sell things that you have equipped.
Yes.
And
That's
you just
common.
press the button and it's gone. There's no like you can't do it because you have it equipped, or hey, you have this equipped. Are you sure you want to sell this?
It does show like a
because
little icon if you have it equipped though.
yeah, but it lets you sell it right
Yeah.
away.
That's common.
So
isn't it?
no,
like
it's
that's pretty
not
common.
at all. It's not common. It is very normal for them to just like not even show the things that you have equipped. So you like it's not even an option to sell it, or it pops up with a
Yeah.
menu of like, are you sure? Because the Xbox controller that I use, sometimes it will double press.
Ooh.
So it double pressed, sold my spacesuit. I land on a planet, and I'm like, I'm in a poncho.
Oh, you didn't even like it because it didn't even tell you that you no longer had a spacesuit on because you sold it right off
No.
your back. Ah, that's funny.
Yeah. So
I had to
just
Google.
I don't understand why that's a thing.
I got a jetpack, and I'm like, sweet. You know, I've seen the videos about like
the
jetpacks,
boosting.
and I'm like, I can't wait to like start boosting around. And I'm like, okay, probably you hit like jump again. I'm guessing, but no jetpacking. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, maybe it's a different button. Maybe it's I tried every button. I was clicking the sticks. I was clicking the bumpers. I'm all over the place. Finally, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna have to Google this. And they're like, just I Google it, and it's like, yeah, just hit jump again. I'm like, well, I did hit jump again. So I continue Googling. It's like, oh, you have to research like it's one of
You gotta get the
skills.
ability.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
This is a weird.
if somebody gives me a jetpack,
No.
I don't have to like learn how to hit the jetpack button. I'm just gonna hit it, and it's gonna like, oh, now I have the ability to
Issue.
jetpack. The
This is
jetpack
intuitive.
itself is the ability to jetpack.
Oh, your issue is you have a boost pack.
Yes,
you
and it
couldn't
says that you can
boost.
boost. Yeah.
But it does
So-
other things. But that's a good point.
It would be, it's just like intuitive
is a
game
boost
design, right?
Yeah.
That when you get a boost pack that has the basic boost pack, it says, pops up and says, oh, you just acquired a boost pack. In order to use the full functionality, put a point into boost packs.
Okay,
Just
so
like,
Yeah.
you know,
I
there's just
agree
a
with
lot
all
going
of
on.
this. All of this
So-
I totally agree with.
Yeah.
However, I also cannot stand games that are tutorial for the first 3 hours of gameplay. Zelda.
Right.
You know, like not
Yeah,
the current
yeah,
Zeldas, but
me neither,
past
actually.
Zeldas. So like I don't know that I prefer which way I prefer. Like, yeah, I am confused a lot of time and I have to Google stuff like how to use a jetpack, even though it's right.
So instead of it popping up in game and you reading it, you're going outside of the game, Googling, and then reading the page.
I agree, Watts. Like you are correct, but that's only been like a couple of times. Whereas, like, man, I really don't like sitting there and watching tutorials for like hours on end. Whereas this,
Well,
I gotta figure it out. Yes, and sometimes I've had to go to Google. Yes, but I'm not sitting there watching. Like I was impressed by this game because, like, this game gets you into the action. Like you find a thing and you are on a starship exploring the galaxy in the first half hour of this game, and I was like, oh, well, that's kind of neat. You know, like there was so little like kind of like ramp up to like this is what you want to be doing in this game. So I appreciate that. Like I'm not just sitting there like, oh well, you gotta, because I always forget the shit too. You know what I'm saying? It's like I forget. Like
Yeah,
you give me 4 tutorials in a row, and I have forgotten all of them.
I don't think it needs hours of tutorials,
Yeah.
but this game is more complicated than a JRPG on crack in the 80s because it's unintuitive UI as well as not explaining how to do things. So I think it would be helpful to have a couple of things that they actually tell you about,
Yeah.
because I wasn't having fun in the game until I understood a lot about the game. And I
Yeah.
could have understand stuff about the game a little bit faster if they just onboarded me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree, and I think
I
you
agree,
could
yeah.
do optional things as well, right? Skip
Right.
this tutorial because I want to immerse myself, and I
Okay,
don't
you could
know
do
that menus are really true immersion, but
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. Like even selling your stuff for me,
Mhm.
you forget, and I think it's always this way in their games. But I was like, well, I really want to sell this stuff. I was like,
Yep.
I'd done a few and I sort of like was beside myself and like, wait a second, like per this example, I'm like, what? I'm like, I guess I go to town and then it'll be obvious. And then like I walk in like a coffee shop and I was like, oh Christ. Well, I'm like, well, I'm gonna get a coffee while I walk around town and figure out where to sell stuff. Truly immersive, but like definitely kind of weird that it wasn't like, go here in like, why not have a quest in town that brings you that is
Right,
really
you could have
I would love to hear
optional
from
quest, right? Optional tutorial quest that you can
which they
select.
kind of it's
They
weird
kind
because
of have,
they have activities, but they're
kind of.
not necessarily tutorials, and that's exactly it. It's like
Yeah,
it's an activity that actually does teach you something, and sometimes it's just not. And it's just called an activity. So yeah, maybe having that's a good way to put it, Watts. A like a section where they were tutorial quests.
Yeah.
They could add that to the game still, and honestly, that would be probably pretty useful for
That way you
people.
can, you can buy in or buy out of it, and that way you have the best of both worlds.
But to back it up a little bit for everybody, has it impacted the game for you to the point that, you know, it's a big problem, you're not enjoying it? For me, it's vexing, but I'm really enjoying the game. It's a good game. Part of it is I've played Bethesda RPG, so there's a little bit of built-in bias there of like, well, I know what to expect. So it's good. I'm enjoying the time.
For me, like I said, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this game until I started figuring out a lot about the game, like how to actually play the game. So until that point, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. But yeah, now that I know more about it, I'm having a good time. I'm kind of going into how I want to play the game. Although the game doesn't totally allow you to like be a pirate, for example. It doesn't totally allow you to like buy into the exact fantasy that you want to do if they don't want you to do that fantasy.
Do you think that's yet where you're at with it, or like you're like it's definitely just not going to happen based on what you're trying to do?
I don't know. It's like if you get contraband on your ship, right, and you don't have a hull that can prevent the scan from seeing the contraband, you cannot do the main quest. You are stuck. You cannot land in a planet unless you want to go to jail and they take all of your stuff, which I did try that out, and they didn't just take the contraband that was on the ship. They took like every single thing that I've ever stolen ever.
Well,
so I just started
I
seeing
haven't
like
tried
bing,
that yet.
bing, bing,
See,
bing. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Watts.
It does. It does. So I actually
I'm
the whole
hoping you're just not
contraband
skilled
thing.
enough yet.
I need a hull. I need a ship.
Yeah, you could buy a ship that has that.
I need to get a ship with the hull, and then you also have to get like jammers to jam the scanner while they're scanning it, so it's even less likely that they see in the hull.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I ended up getting into a situation where it's like, so I wanted to get a better ship, ideally one with a hull that cannot be scanned, but you have to get a skill in order to tell what the ship even has on it. So I took a bounty to go and take out a Crimson Fleet to steal their ship, got on their ship, killed them, stole the ship. They had contraband on the ship I didn't even know about because it's just like an item on a table, which is fun. And then I tried to go to a planet. I was like, can't land, got contraband. So I got into this whole thing of like, okay, I've got to, which I kind of enjoyed actually, where I had to land on a planet, make an outpost, make a storage container, put the contraband in the storage container. But then when I went to space,
it's your hidden treasure.
It is my hidden. When I went to space, and I'm flying the ship that I had just destroyed the engines, by the way, to be able to board the ship. I destroyed the engines. So I'm like, I just need to get back to a town and I can fix my ship because I don't have any ship parts. But then I'm a wanted criminal. So I get attacked in space by bounty hunters. I don't have an engine. So how did I just blow up?
This story sounds fun to me. I'll be honest with you.
No, it was fun. I was just like, ooh, I don't know what to do. I have a ship that has no engine and I've got contraband and I can't land anywhere. I don't know what to do. But yeah, there's lots of fun like that. And that actually is like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was really concerned with like the first 3 hours of this game because I was like, all I kept doing was like I'd talk to somebody and then I would fast travel somewhere. And like, I was getting like, wait a minute, like when do I get to like start exploring stuff and like seeing stuff where I just felt like I was just constantly like picking at a menu, fast traveling, going to talk to somebody or going shooting a couple guys, you know, and then it was just like fast travel. And this is like, we're living in a post No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous world where like, you know, part of the fun to me of those games is the actual like flying around and, you know, like kind of the exploration. Like even in past Bethesda games like a Fallout 4, is you're not on a spaceship, but you're walking around, and like part of that is like walking from like, you know, you get a quest to go see the Washington Monument. You got to get to the Washington Monument. There's like 8 different things to distract you between where you are and the Washington Monument, though, that may distract you for hours. Whereas this, the ship interaction is mainly just fast traveling from place to place. You're not like, you fly it like to get into space battles, but it doesn't really feel like.
It depends. That is true, but it also depends on how you do it. In other words, you're right. Before it was like an open world in like, you know, the United States or whatever, but now it's the galaxy,
right?
And you're going from Alpha Centauri to like Earth and blah blah. But there is the in between, which is all the planets that you might decide to check out.
Right.
And what I'm getting at is sometimes when you go somewhere you haven't been yet, because I don't think you can just fast travel to a planet that you haven't been to yet.
If it's super far away.
And if it's super far away, you have to make a stop.
You have to go,
But you got to jump.
You don't have to like stop. You just have to like fast travel to that point and then fast travel to that point.
But what I was going to say is you do get interrupted sometimes. There's a space battle happening, or somebody hails your ship, and there can be some dialogue in it.
You're not like getting interrupted by like, oh, what's in this gas station? You know, and then you find out there's like tunnels under this gas station with like, you know, like some kind of like, you know, huge mystery to uncover and like some loot to get, you know, like it's just look, I'm very early in the game, so like it does, all of this stuff may come up, but like real early in the game I was just like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this at all. As I've gotten to like some of the deeper quests, like, oh, okay, now I'm like exploring a planet. I'm like, it is doing that thing where you got to get from A to B. In between A and B, there may be some, you know, interesting things. There's going to be people to talk to. There's going to be side quests. Like, so that stuff is getting there. But I'm a little disappointed by like the ship interaction. Like, I really, you know, I really want someday for a No Man's Sky kind of system of like being able to just like cruise around in your ship, like right from the get-go, off the planet into space, get into all sorts of trouble in space, you know, and then cruise to the next planet, go back down. Like, it's just so cool. And to have all that stuff just done by menus is, I don't know, in 2023,
it is,
a little bit.
It is by menus,
Did you ever play Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, Briar?
Yeah, that's a cool game.
Yeah. And it has like a whole like radio station of licensed music. It's really rad, just vibing in space. Like, I agree that I was hoping, and I'm still maybe a bit optimistic, there's a little more like of the ship combat stuff and all. But yeah, you definitely won't be flying around a bunch in space seemingly and like having that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's missing. But to what you were saying, once you get on like the bigger planets and stuff, like that is where, stuff is buried beneath. And in this building, there's all these quests, and there's a lot of that on each of the bigger planets, seemingly.
Like, there's a lot of people to talk to in towns. There's a lot of like side quest stuff to do in towns. Once you explore like the outskirts of town, it seems like there's going to be stuff out there to do too. I've only really done this twice so far, but from what I've seen so far, it seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I think we're all just so early. I was going to say, I don't know if we established. I'm only about like 10 hours in.
Yeah, I'm only like 6 and a half, 7 hours.
Well, yeah, probably about similar to Fran, but I think like what Briar's saying with the, you know, flying off a planet and flying around, flying to a planet, that's not going to change. Like, it is all done in the menu. You're not going to get later in the game and all of a sudden you can fly down to a planet. So yeah, if you are looking for like a No Man's Sky-esque kind of space experience where you're flying physically the ship off the planet into space and down to planet, it's not that. You will be doing it in menus. But I think the game does have a lot of cool stuff to it. Like, what did you guys pick for your starting class and your skills, your traits? What'd you pick? What's your character's background?
I can't remember. I think I was a pilgrim, maybe.
I'm a long hauler. That's the thing. I want to be like the space trucker, space runner. Yes. I want to be a renowned space trucker, space runner. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm a cyber runner, which is like stealth, hacking, pickpocketing. And then I went with like the wanted trait. So bounty hunters do come and try and find you.
I definitely did. I couldn't wait for that one.
Yeah, wanted is pretty fun. I actually had I had a distress signal when I'm just in space. They're like, help. So I flew down to the planet. I'm like, I'm going to help these guys out. Why not? I'm right here. I'm talking to this guy. I'm in like the menu, like the actual kind of cutscene where you're talking to people. And a bounty hunter shows up and shoots him in the head. So I'm just standing there talking to him, and he's just like, "We have an emergency," and he just goes, "Boo." "Yeah."
That's amazing.
And then the bounty hunter's like, "We've been looking for you everywhere." I'm like, "What
Were
the
you
hell
supposed to
is
shoot me, dumbass?"
Yeah, totally. That's me. It shot the other. That was pretty fun. That was cool. And then I was like disappointed slightly after that because I was like, "Oh, I killed the bounty hunters. Does that mean I can go get their ship?" No, their ship is not on the planet, which is a bit unfortunate because that's like if I'm really buying into this fantasy that they're selling me, and that's why I say it kind of lands short on giving you the full RPG fantasy of all of the things that you might want to do. Because if you're in space and there's a bounty hunter, you can take their ship because they're in space. But if they come down to kill you and you kill them, there's no ship for you to take, which I thought was a little disappointing.
But you can steal ships from on the ground.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact I just feel like if a bounty hunter lands on a planet to kill me and I kill the bounty hunter, their ship should be there.
I would like to do that for sure. Yeah,
their
like
ship
trace
should
back,
be there.
find their ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not a huge deal. It's not the all encompassing big space RPG that I was maybe expecting a bit more.
Like it's still kind of whetting my appetite for that Star Wars game that's coming out, I think next year or maybe the year after.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah,
Outlaws. Yeah, which man looks right up my alley. It looks a little more fast paced. Plus, it's got the Star Wars universe, which of course I love. Plus, it seems like it's going to be a little more focused. Where instead of doing 1,000 planets, we're gonna have some planets, but really with a lot of shit there. So it's not like No Man's Sky where you land places and it's just like, well, what do I do here? I don't know. I guess I'm gonna scan some shit.
Yep. Yeah, it feels again for me. I'm not dismissing at all what you guys are saying. Just for the record, I'm just saying personally, I feel like I'm so early and knowing how deep and wild their games can get, and those side stories. Like I feel like it's too early. I'm not saying those things will be there necessarily, but I'm optimistic. And to give an example, maybe is I went from all the stuff we first started talking about. I'm like, geez, like, how do I just like travel? Where do I sell myself? I'm still confused, obviously. Like,
getting over encumbered and being like, where do I sell things?
Of course. Oh yeah.
Man, I was a little pissy with the encumberment right off the bat. Like,
so that
thankfully I figured out like how to transfer to my ship and like that you could sell stuff directly from your ship. You didn't have to like ferry stuff back and forth. But yeah, man.
We should talk about encumbrance.
Encumbrance is
to finish the example though. So I'm going through like really what is setup stuff and figuring out the game, and I still feel like I'm in that zone. But I wasn't paying attention to my levels. I was doing some of the main quest stuff, and I went to like a planet, got in some battles. I was like, geez, I'm getting rocked. And I was just picking up whatever gun was on the ground. Didn't really even know the archetypes that well, and like I was just getting rocked. I was like, you know what? They're like level 10 and 16, and I was like, oh crap, I'm like 7 and 6, and I'm playing on hard mode, by the way. So I was like, I was just doing some side quests, and then I like just did a random side quest in the main city, and we're not gonna spoil anything, or I'm not on this one. But I ended up doing something that was just like really fun. I got somebody in my back pocket, like totally like took advantage of the situation. It was just like a simple side story. So had some fun there, came back, leveled up. But then the point is, by the time I turned back around, had enough experience, realized I like pistols and rifles, realized, the workbench and the mod system, don't really have the materials, but I put one mod on. And I was like, there's some power in here. Double check my skills, went back, and I rocked them.
Nice.
And like that's, you always want that power curve. And so just feeling, and I'm still at the very beginning, but I was like, I had a sick sniper rifle with me and a solid pistol with it's called white hot ammo, so it was like lighting them up, and I was just like rocking them. And I put my booster on for the first time and realized like, that's how I boost. So it all kind of came together, and I just had, it's simple, basic call it Fallout style shooting fun with a boost pack. But
yeah,
but I had a lot of fun, and I feel
Fallout, though. Like I'm
yeah,
having fun with the shooting.
Definitely.
The guns are slick, and that was part of this. Was I'm getting excited about because you got to go and find all these crafting components and materials to get like really nice guns and mods. It's the mod system, so I'm getting excited about that. That I could see just like mining for like special ore to upgrade a gun, but we'll see.
I just went to like this kind of Old West themed town.
Yeah,
and it was pretty cool because there was like a bank robbery. There was like an outpost with like a
hostage situation.
Yeah, hostage situation. But my favorite thing was the guns were all kind of, Old West flavored, right? It's like you got like a stagecoach shotgun and like this old sniper rifle and like a 6-shooter.
I guess that's the ones I was using now that you mention it.
Yeah, I like those guns, man. They're really cool.
The Lawgiver.
Yeah, and like the guy who kind of like is with you on that trip is also kind of got like a cowboy hat, and like it's just
He does, yeah.
All of a sudden you're like this Old West themed kind of spot, and like that was really fun.
Yeah. It was fun picking a pocket with him and my team, and he's like, "Can you just do that?" Or like when I was in a bank and I robbed the ATM, he just went ka-ching.
Really?
Me and Sarah are already having some problems. I don't think it's gonna work out.
I abandoned my teammates as soon as I could because I picked the introvert trait. And they're messing up my sneaking vibes.
Oh, that makes
so
sense.
Far, I've only really brought on the robot. I'm the same way. I'm like,
robot's cool. I like the robot. I like Barrett. I kind of like the Old West guy. I don't know him that well. It's kind of weird that he brings his kid everywhere. It's like, this is kind of a party, but whatever.
But yeah, it's starting to come together. We'll see on that front. But wait, should we talk about encumbrance a bit more?
Yes.
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
Because some people absolutely hate it, and I generally do. But I guess shortly,
it's better
I would
than
just
Fallout,
say,
where you're just like, oh, now I can't walk anymore. I'm just stuck here.
Yeah.
You lose fast travel back to your ship and stuff, and then like it starts depleting oxygen faster and recovery. I think that's as much as I know about it so far.
You can always walk, right? And
you can.
You can walk at a somewhat brisk
It's not like Skyrim where you're like, oh,
yeah, you're just stuck. Yeah, like you gotta drop something because you can't move anymore. And it does seem fairly easy to up your your load carrying ability.
Encumbrance. I guess.
Like
it is called encumbrance.
There are drugs that you could take to just like immediately do it. You can get an outfit. I'm sure there's more outfits in there that'll immediately give you a boost. But you can always at least walk back to your ship. It's going to be annoying not to be able to sprint there or to run there. So I like it in that way. But it just, man, there's so much shit to pick up. Like, I just want to pick up shit.
Yeah, I know.
See, they're trying to keep you from doing it, though.
I can't pick up all the stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll take the spacesuits and like the helmets because they sell for a lot of money.
Yes,
but everything else I'm just going to kind of leave there. They're very heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't love over encumbrance. I don't think it adds anything to my experience. If anything, I'd say it takes away slightly.
Yeah, it's one of those like that falls into a category, maybe like fall damage, and obviously this game does have fall damage, like if you're jumping too far. But in some games, like Borderlands, for example,
fall damage. It's not good.
Yeah, famously, it's like we don't think fall damage is fun. It's just not in the game. Like that's a Borderlands thing, for example. But like Bethesda's not like that. And so I'm somewhere in between on it.
Yeah.
Like I expected it. So I think because of that, I'm like, whatever, it's not that big a deal for me. I just have to really pay attention. But I do question, I'm like, wait, would it just be like way more fun if I didn't have to worry about this? Or is that immersion of like, you gotta be mindful of how you loot, and it adds a lot of strategy. That's what it's about, I assume. It's adding a lot of strategy to how you loot. You gotta loot for money. You gotta loot for components because you're gonna craft, or you're gonna take your gun. Like you really gotta think about it, and I think that's probably their main intention of it. Because it's an RPG, like I'm chill with it. I didn't expect it, but it does beg the question.
I would be picking up everything.
Yeah,
literally.
But then your ship's gonna fill up.
And then as soon as
I go
to a town, just sell it all. So they'd have to. I don't know. They'd have to adjust the value of things to make that slower. I am making money pretty quickly. Like I was looking at a pretty awesome ship that I think was like 250,000 credits.
I don't even know where to get them yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Don't spoil it for me. Yeah, I'm like, I don't even. Oh, I figure you can get new ships. So.
Yeah, you can get them right away. And like 250,000 credits. I don't have 250,000
Yeah,
credits.
that's a lot.
But I had 50,000 credits pretty quick. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's not that far away. 250,000.
See,
I gotta tell you, pickpocketing pays the bills.
Oh, I bet it does. Yeah.
So I was on a mission where I was helping out a bunch of cops, right? So I pickpocketed all of them before I did the mission. And they were all holding like $1,000 in their pocket. Yeah, oh yeah. And then I took all their ammo, so I'll have plenty of ammo because everyone's got ammo on them. Even citizens have ammo on them.
Ammo is worth its weight in gold.
I don't like the ammo system. There's too many different kinds. You guys say I can organize my weapons.
I checked. You can sort by ammo.
I haven't done it. But
that's what I need to do. I need to go back in and sort by ammo when I'm looking at my weapons because I run out of ammo and I want to switch to a weapon like that takes different, but it's like, well, which one does it take? And I'm like looking through. So what I want to do is my quick slots just have like every weapon on there take different ammo so I can just cycle through them.
Yeah, and you know what's it? I went through the exact same thing, Briar. It was driving me nuts. And then I realized, and I don't know if that's their intention, but like I was like, it seems like they want you to kind of fall into a category of guns you want to use, and then therefore you're like stocking up and buying on that ammo because you can buy ammo, and then you're focused on those things. Versus at first I was doing what you're doing. And, you know, you're early on, to be fair, so maybe that's natural, where it's like, I'm trying to carry one of every type because I am running out of ammo. But you also learn the enemies are going to drop guns, and they're going to generally carry the same type of weaponry, and, like, you have to make those quick decisions of, like, screw it, I'm out of the good gun, I got to pick their stuff up, and I got to get their ammo. And, like, it's annoying at first. I don't want to buy any
guns, too. I really want to save for that awesome ship. Because I want to be a space pirate.
You start getting some pretty good guns.
I want to rob people of their ships. I specifically put a point into being able to lock onto engines so that I can take out the engines and then board them. So that's what I'm going to do, probably. Maybe even today. I'm going to run around and try and just steal everyone's ships until I can get one with a hull that hides all my contraband.
I'm looking forward to having like 30 or 40 hours under my belt and like really like understanding the meat and potatoes of this game, and like really kind of like now I'm like gonna play this game my way, right, as opposed to like I really do feel like I'm
confused,
fumbling around still.
You're the same. 10 to 12 hours, same. Like there's all this stuff I didn't know that I still don't know. Like I know that you can get another ship, but I don't know where. I haven't even looked for it though. Outpost stuff as an example, there's an activity that literally, it's like a good example of their lack of tutorials. There's like an activity that's like set up an outpost. I was like, okay. And I went to a planet and like you're supposed to put down like your first building thing, right? And I just couldn't. And I'm like, why? I still don't know. I assumed the type of ground that it was, but then I was able to do it in a spot. But then I had like a wild like game situation / bug where I got in a ship. And I was like, oh, what's in the ship, you know? And then it was like, and it was like, start taking off. I was like, what? It's not my ship. What's going on, you know?
It is
and
now.
The windows, there's like these blasters coming at the windows. And I just like all of a sudden I like fell over and died. So I don't know if the ship blew up. Anyway, long story short, I was in the middle of that. I went back to the same place, tried to put the outpost down. I couldn't. I think it had to do with the ground type. But point is, I still like the outpost system is a whole nother thing. Ship building. There's so much depth to each system.
I haven't done the ship building yet. I do want to do that. I want to do mess around. And True Vanguard, our good friend True Vanguard, just put out a video about ship customization. So I'm going to check that out and see if I can learn anything.
It seems cool. You're going to spend an hour with each of these systems just to get the basics.
Well, what you're talking about with the base building is like the outposts, you can set these outposts to be automated. Then you can set up kind of these shipping lines between outposts so that they can be like more productive. And like you can set up like, it sounds almost like this kind of like factory, just like feeding you all these credits and all
you
these
can
materials.
Leave your shipmates there to like man the outpost. Yeah.
Sarah is going to be, that's going to be her job.
Put her on the farm.
The little girl?
No. The girl.
The first woman from Constellation.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot her name.
She's
already.
A bit.
I'm pretty sure it's Sarah.
Maybe there's two Sarahs.
She really doesn't like if you do anything fun.
Oh, she does not
So
want
you're
to
gonna
come
put her
with
to work.
me.
Yeah,
She does
you're gonna
not
be
want to
great
join
at
me.
running this factory.
You're like, you don't like having fun? Perfect. I got the job for you.
Yeah, I got the job for you. How do
Factory
you feel about
manager.
assembly line work?
Dust Planet factory manager. You're coming with me.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to be at that 40-hour mark, like
Yeah,
you're
I'm looking
saying, and
forward to
see how we feel then. Yeah, the game is absolutely overwhelming, but again, I have a Bethesda bias in not that I expected it to be good, but I expected it to be deep and overwhelming. And I'm just still in that zone, and so I'm like, let's see what happens when I finally get my head above water. There's a lot of games that, like, as an aside, and I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to get too like direct in comparisons, but let's take Elden Ring. Elden Ring is absolutely throws you in and is like completely baffling, especially if you have never played a Souls game and or a From Software game. And I think they just expect you to learn through trial and error, you know, and everybody does it a little different at that depth. But I expected it in here. We'll see where it goes. But I'm progressively having more fun the more I learn.
Yes. Yeah,
and
me too.
It's not impacted me in a way I'm like, I can't do this. It's never been that for me. It's sort of been like, this is fun, but I'm frustrated right now because I feel stupid, and I'm slowly getting over that.
Yeah, I'm having fun as well with what I'm doing. I've found like some pretty cool places. I'm stealing everything. So I'm like leveling up my lock picking as high as I can, as fast as I can, because as soon as you get to a thing and it's like master required or something, I'm like, damn it, I can only do expert so far. So
yeah,
I'm gonna want to get that up right away. So as soon as I find something, I can lockpick it. Although, I need to place to get dodge digipicks. Oh my god, the lockpick. Okay, so
it's another perfect example.
The
Is why I'm
first
laughing.
time
Jeez.
that I'm streaming Starfield. I come across my first lockpicking. I'm like, sweet, this was like my favorite thing to do in Skyrim and stuff. I love this, and I'm like, wait, I don't get it. And chat is like, well, if there's 3 plus 2, that equals 5, which means that you and I'm like, what did you just say to me? It makes sense now that I understand. But yeah, they're like, it's 3 plus the 2, that equals 5, and then there's a 2 and a 4 in the bottom. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but eventually I got it.
It's wild that, and again, like it's clearly a design choice of they're like, we don't want to explain to you how this system works. We're just going to give you a digipick. And you're going to see a novice lockpicking opportunity, and you're going to go in. And I went in and immediately felt like I wasted a valuable piece of inventory. And I was talking to chat. I was like, dang it. I was like, you're distracting me. And then it took me many tries still to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm better at doing this now. But it really is quite the stab at lockpicking, where they want you to like really look at it, plan ahead, and understand how it works. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but
I am glad it's not the old system of like just rotating the thing and feeling like where it buzzes. Like I did like that the first time I did.
Tired of that.
But yeah, it's been many years and iterations of the same thing. I was like, oh, I'm really ready to move on here. And I was happy to see something different. I was also confused though by the way.
They expect you to be that. Again, it's like the whole game is like you're gonna be pretty baffled at first, and you gotta just keep trudging along and immerse yourself. So the payoff has been there though, and I would say the classic Bethesda, like side quest situation of you're like, okay, I had a lot of options, and wow, that went in a direction that I didn't necessarily expect, but it was a lot of fun. And you get into it. You want to keep seeing more of that. But I will say, I only touched on it briefly because I don't have a lot of experience, but the mod system and the guns are pretty slick. The animations are really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the overall actual shooting and stuff yet, but I'm like, these guns are pretty sick. So I'm excited to go out and there's a lot of mods and a lot of guns.
Yeah, I'm having fun with the shooting right off the bat. Like I was like, oh, these guns feel good. It's not. It doesn't feel like it has that Fallout system of like there's an RPG hidden under this first person shooting where like you can have your sight aimed straight at somebody's head and the bullets are just kind of whizzing all around because it's just like it's rolling dice under the covers.
Oh, right.
Whereas this, I feel like if I shoot somebody, it hits them.
I don't know. I think it's the type of gun still, but I will say I don't know that it has the RNG bullets, let's call them.
Yeah.
But definitely, depending on your range and all, it'll just be a terrible shot because of like your modifications sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Like just a disaster shot. But then yeah, you start getting some good mods and you're like, ooh, that like just even like quick handling, snapshot, like you're like, ooh, that changes things. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes because that could be really fun to find your own again style just with the guns themselves and be chasing like rare materials to like do a mod, and craft a mod, do a mod, whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to uncovering the story. I was a little disappointed that the story was kind of like that. Like it starts off anyway being this kind of like pretty tread ground of, hey, we found this artifact that leads us to believe there was this ancient civilization that's no longer around. Like, oh, that's a new one. Is that the only story we can tell in space or what?
Yeah, with weird artifacts that you find. Yeah, that's true. It's the side stories and the people are so fun so far, though. That actually, yeah, like the main quest. I don't know how I feel about the main story at all yet. It's
yeah,
like,
hopefully it goes somewhere.
I've just been finding some pieces for a thing, and then I assume that was sort of the beginning of it, which I'm not even past that at all. So, see what's out there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more in space.
So it doesn't sound like anybody doesn't like it. I think we have a lot of questions, but so far so good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've kind of hit my groove a bit more now, leveling up the lockpicking stuff and leveling up pickpocketing. And yeah, it's been cool coming across like a zero grav casino, and there's a whole thing to do in there.
Hey, haven't seen that yet.
But now I'm on a mission for that secret hull spaceship. I need it.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I haven't like been bold enough to try to take any contraband around yet. I accidentally picked some stuff up, I noticed, and I think I jettisoned it just to be extra safe for now. But it's funny because
in that zero grav casino, there's a lot of contraband. I can't pick it up.
Perfect for a space trucker.
I can't.
I need to be hanging out there rolling the dice, picking up jobs. Although Watts will be pickpocketing me while I'm gambling.
I will. Pickpocket everybody.
What else?
What else?
We missed last week.
We did. And last week was crazy because it was Gamescom. Lots of Gamescom stuff.
Also,
really?
Armored Core, also Blasphemous 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Big stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, PlayStation Portable. That's right. That was
we don't need to
a big topic.
What did they call it? Did they call it the PlayStation Portable?
The Portal. Sorry.
Portal.
It's interesting because it's the PSP. Yeah. I was pointing that out.
Great. Nice.
I mean, technically, it's the PlayStation Portal Portable. So maybe it's the PSPP.
I like that better.
$199.99. 8-inch 1080p LCD screen. But I think it's cool. But it is a Wi-Fi device that's basically like a high def, switch in your house that runs off your PlayStation 5 with the library that's on your PlayStation 5. So I'd get one if I had the money and it worked well. Be all over it. But it seems like you guys aren't that interested. But you guys are big Steam Deck users, right?
Yeah.
For indies, I use mine a fair amount.
Yeah. I wanted to actually load Starfield on and just see if I could make it suffer. Because for some reason I like watching that thing bleed.
Yeah. Hey, you paid for it. Yeah. To get your money's worth.
But yeah, I don't know. The fact that this thing can only play over Wi-Fi, so there's going to be some inherent latency. Like, also, can't I already do this with like an iPhone and like a PlayStation controller?
There's something, but that's still very different than like a fully built-in. It's got all the PlayStation controller haptics and everything, and a really nice screen. Hopefully, I think it's cool, especially if you're a PlayStation player. And like it's funny because you guys are like, oh, for indies, even that alone of like PS5 quality indies, if it's really is about the latency, and like I would hope at this point it works pretty well overall. I mean, Stadia on a server at a distance, over Ethernet, granted, but still over a chain of servers worked pretty well. So I would hope that we're at the point where if you have pretty decent Wi-Fi, that this works okay.
The last time, maybe the last time I tried this was with was that called the PlayStation TV? Where you could have a PlayStation 4 and it would do this exact thing to another TV in your house. I'm like, oh, that's great. I can only have one PlayStation, but I can play on multiple TVs. It worked terribly. It was awful. It was unplayable. And I have the most expensive Wi-Fi I could get.
Yeah.
That'll be the big test then.
Yeah.
I think there might be some hands-on out there. I didn't have to.
You are right, though. That technology has come a long way in 10 years.
So it launches November 15th. FYI.
I might check it out just for
I would get one if I had the money for it.
Yeah. I might get one and return it. Just to try it out. I don't think this one's going to be out of stock everywhere right away. Maybe it will. I don't know. Not like the Analog Pocket.
Yeah.
Watts, tell me about Armored Core 6, and is it awesome?
I haven't played a bunch.
You haven't?
No, I have not played a bunch. I realize that it's probably not a game for me personally. I was having a lot of fun. To be fair, Twitch chat kind of killed it for me. If you thought you were getting backseated in like Souls games, you have not met Armored Core community backseating. It is crazy. And it wasn't just the backseating, like chat was just not like our regulars. They're wonderful. But just random people coming in were just being really weird. Like the weirdest people I've seen streaming a game. So I was having fun with Armored Core, but I was like, I don't really care about mechs. It's like, it's not a like fantasy that I want to drive a mech. It's just not a thing that I really have. And ultimately, I don't think Armored Core is a game for me. I'm a Souls player through and through, and Armored Core is not a Souls game, and I didn't expect it to be. I wanted to just go in because I love the world building of FromSoft games so much, and this world is so cool. And I've really enjoyed watching people play it, actually. But yeah, it just feels like in combat, things aren't totally in my control. Like I'm going to get hit by some stuff. And if I'm getting hit by stuff, I have to like build into the fact that I'm going to get hit by some stuff when I don't necessarily want to do that. And I'm sure there's going to be pro gamers out there dodging every single thing ever, and it's totally in control. But it's just less controlled than I like it in a combat one-on-one kind of situation. And I might finish it off stream, but I'm not going to stream it anymore.
I was going to say, I think chat ruined it for you a little bit.
A little bit, but also I don't care about building mechs. I really don't care about mechs. Like I really don't. There's been like one Gundam that I've enjoyed because of the characters in the story, but yeah, I'm really not a mech person. That fantasy does nothing for me.
If you like shooters of that style too, like an arcade shooter.
I don't like shooters, to be honest. I don't even really like shooter games. There's like some that I like Destiny that's RPG, and I get more into that. But yeah,
that's
generally
a first-person shooter.
Monster hunting games, Souls games. Those are the games that I really, really love. And if I'm not like really loving a game or trying to figure a game out, I'm not really gonna stick around.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. I did get to play some, not a ton. I don't know. I'm still in chapter 1, approaching the end of chapter 1. But I was super happy how well it runs on PC.
Oh, it runs streaming. Great.
Oh, that's weird.
Man, is it slick.
Must not have got the memo for 2023.
Yeah, just super sharp looking game. Tons of action. But it's interesting because it's like these packed levels. And that's what I like about it, actually. It's old school. That's why I brought up shooter. It's like an old school arcade shooter. That's what Armored Core is at its core. Yeah. And it's really deep when you get into like, the mech building stats of how heavy is your mech, and are you going to bring a shield, or do you want 2 missiles, and blah, blah. And you have all these different play styles to sort of figure out. And I'm too early to say what I would like or don't like at overall. But man, I thought it was so refreshing. That's what I like so much about it. Like, I haven't played just like an arcade shooter like that in quite a while. So I think it's an awesome game. It's crazy.
I think it's a great game. Yeah, it really is an incredible game. Just like I could say God of War, I notice is a good game, but I hate that game.
Exactly.
I do not want to play that game. I like Armored Core a lot more than God of War, like 100% more. But yeah, with all these games coming out, I'd rather play Blasphemous 2 Like I should have just jumped into that because then I could have jumped back in.
Yeah, you should have.
I would have really
so
loved that.
fucking good, Watts.
It's an important distinction there too, right? Of like, just because like you're like, it's not for me, doesn't mean that we're not saying a game is not good.
No, I wish it was for me because that world is super cool, and I've seen stuff about the story, and it sounds really dope. And some of the fights that I've seen, I would love to experience them. But yeah, a lot of the mech building, I'm not that into. Like switching builds, I don't like doing that. I like finding my play style.
Right.
So there's a lot that just doesn't really fit with me.
Well, I'll keep playing as long as you come by and root me on.
Good luck in chapter 1.
Briar, yeah, what's up with Blasphemous?
Dude, it's so good. It's more Blasphemous, which is enough.
So he's starting to drool.
Oh. It is.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
Yeah, it's really good. So there's a few differences in this one right away. Is first of all, you have a choice of weapons right from the beginning, and you can unlock more as you go. The game is less, I think, about. It's less about kind of endlessly running backwards and like repeating like your backtracking, and more about like first time exploration. I feel like I don't want to say it's easier because I have definitely gotten better at Blasphemous, but it feels like I don't feel like I'm just like constantly hitting like walls like I was in the first one. The first one was difficult, but it was also difficult in a way that made me like have to go back and like, all right, I clearly am missing something. This one kind of, it's sort of like the most recent Metroid game, is it feels like it's just like encouraging you to go in the correct way in subtle ways that you don't necessarily see coming, but are just happening. You know what I mean? What was that last Metroid game called?
Dread.
Yeah, it's like in Dread, like I got lost one time in Dread. And in Blasphemous, I'm feeling like the same kind of like gentle, like this is the way you should go, and this is your natural progression, and I'm really liking that. The graphics are amazing. Still, I'm playing on the Switch and on the PC. Actually, it's out. It just looks gorgeous, and it, obviously, I don't think the art style is gonna be for everybody. It's very kind of like this. I don't think gothic is the right word, right? It's. Like,
it looks like 16-bit Dark Souls or Bloodborne to me.
Yeah, there's like kind of this like this religious undertone. It's not even an undertone, right? It's right in your face.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of nails it for me. It's like, what if we made Castlevania but hardcore in 2023? And it just, I love it. I think it plays awesome. It looks awesome. It's so fun to explore because the story I don't find to be all that compelling, but I just want to find out more about what's going on in this world, similar to Dark Souls. Like I don't know what the fucking story is in a Dark Souls game, but I just want to keep finding out more about this place. And I find that is very much the case with both Blasphemous games. This game, I really think they have taken Blasphemous and really kind of refined it a little bit. And opening up for new weapons, I think also really helps to kind of, I don't know, just give you a little bit more gameplay variety while you're playing. There's this one weapon, I can't remember what it's called, but imagine like a mace, like, like a ball on a chain, but imagine the ball is like way bigger. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of like a cross between like a hammer and a mace. It's really fun, but you can't parry when you have that. So that's the other thing, right? Is like, depending on the weapon you have different kind of skills as well as just the attacks. It changes up Catholic Gothic. I think that's a great description in chat. Yeah. I'm really loving this game. I took a break from it to start Starfield, but I really don't want to, because have you ever noticed with like Metroid kind of games, if you like step away for a little while and then you come back, it's like, oh, now I'm completely lost.
Then you will be lost.
Yeah. I don't know where anything goes. I don't know like where I'm supposed to be going. So I really want to kind of continue playing it until I beat it, along with playing Starfield, which is hard for me. I'm not good at playing two games at the same time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like to do that if I can avoid it, unless they're pretty like late games. But yeah, anything with depth like these, for sure, you're doing it. I would finish Blasphemous, and it's funny that Starfield's still in early access, and it's like it's not even out yet.
It's not. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow.
So many people. bought it early. By the way, I hate early access still. I mean, I definitely bought it as part of being a streamer and for the business, and I'd hate to support it, quite frankly, when I don't have to. So mostly I hate it when it's in level based games where, like, let's say it's Diablo or Destiny, where you're like leveling up, and even games like Back 4 Blood did it, where you get behind, your friends can get ahead of you. Then it's super lame. But I really just wanted to put out, I hate the practice. They're telling you about how you get the DLC, which we know nothing about, and like it's such a like capitalist, like it sucks that that's where the state of games are. And I bring it up because a ton of people were playing it on Steam, so you knew alone there were hundreds of thousands of peak concurrents.
Yes, they
bought it. They were full in, and it just sucks that you had to buy it. They didn't necessarily buy it because it was a premium edition with some skins and whatever. They bought it because they had to and they wanted to get it early.
Yeah, it is unfortunate because I think if you're a fan of a game, you want to be there at the beginning for the conversation that's around it, because that's really fun, is being involved in all the conversation online about it and talking to your friends about it. So it's not a purchase decision that you feel good about. It's one that you're like, I need to do that.
That pressure too, exactly. Another $30 just to be like, well, yeah, Watts is playing it already. I better play it because then we can talk about it. And I'm like, obviously for the show, but yeah, like it's such a lame practice. I don't see it ending anytime soon. And
it works. It gets them like a little bit extra money on top of their retail price, and
Yeah, I mean, I think my caveat is when it's less a billion-dollar company and more a indie company. Like, let's say, I don't know the size of, I think the Game Kitchen I'm looking did Blasphemous. I don't know how big they are. But like in those cases, it's like, whatever. It's more of a indie. It's not a huge monster, multi-hundred million title. I care less so when it's like a multi-million-dollar title. Like low million, you get the point. So I mean, if you ever catch me in the future being like, yeah, you should support them, like that's different than like they just got bought for billions of dollars and all the above. But anyway, sorry.
Lies of P early access is on the 16th.
Yeah, and I don't know how big that team is, and like
they're pretty small.
Subjective sometimes, but
yeah.
And sometimes the bonuses are different too. Like if I knew again about like what the DLC is and the promises. Maybe I care a little less because, again, it's not an online game. But anyway.
And also the price, right? It's like for Starfield, it was like, what, 20, 30 bucks? 40 bucks?
$70 for base and then 100 for premium.
Yeah. So that's quite a big jump. For Lies of P, it's $10. So it starts at 60 and then it goes to 70. And it's like, when I'm paying $70 for a lot of games anyway, this is a game I really want to support. So like,
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's a caveat. So it's a little subjective, I guess, but I had to throw it out there because in this case, I'm like, the game should have just been out for it. But it's been really weird, especially as why like everybody's been playing it, but then there's a bunch who have been, they just can't financially, and they're like,
they're waiting for Game Pass.
And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty lame.
It's rough when it's like that long of an early access window too. Like if it's a day or two, it's not as bad. But if it's like damn near a week, you're like,
Ooh. And what's interesting is that I think I care less if it was a Game Pass thing. They're like, well, look, if you support the whole game, you buy the game, you can buy it just for the regular $70 price. That I think I'd be a little more understanding of that. But you can't even do that. It's literally you have to buy the premium edition, right?
You
so
do.
It's $100 or nothing, or it's Game Pass plus $35 or $32 or whatever. So, But anyway,
this is why we should all only buy games that are like 6 months old. only buy games 6 months old. They've already been patched and fixed. They're half price.
Like but only if you're sure that it's a game that you're going to get a sequel for, like, because I always bring that up, right? I'm like, I wanted you to buy Metroid Prime Remaster on day one because it took us 20 years to get it. And that's because not enough people bought it because they said stuff like, I don't know, maybe I'll play it later, and then maybe I'll get it when it's on sale, and then we never get another Metroid Prime for I mean, we got 3 Metroid Primes in a row, to be fair, but then there's been none because you didn't buy enough. But anyway.
Did the last Metroid Prime come out on the Wii or the Wii U?
Or both? The Wii U.
It was Wii U?
Oh,
Well, I'm gonna say it wasn't our fault that we didn't buy enough.
It might have been both at the. I'm trying to read, but yeah, it was definitely on Wii U. Metro Prime 3.
Yeah. Lots of good games. Sea of Stars also came out with like 9 and 10s across the board.
Yeah, I gotta check that game out. I haven't even looked at the trailer for that game yet.
I did 20 minutes and I was like, this is what I expected. It's really slick. It's really charming.
What kind of game is it?
I was like, it feels to me like it's that like super polished 16-bit RPG style, but in the modern age.
And it's like in the same universe as The Messenger?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
Never played The Messenger.
That's what I heard.
I've heard people, a lot of reviews were saying that like if you like Chrono Trigger, you're going to want to play Sea of Stars.
I did like Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sold. I think that one is getting a physical release from 8-Bit too.
Not
8-Bit too. Yep. From I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the company, but they are getting a physical.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Man, it's just been 9 and 10, 8, 9, 10s across the board. Like every game that comes out.
Awesome.
It's gotten to the point where if something's an 8, we're like, maybe we don't need to play the 8 game.
That's a B-, bro.
Like,
yeah, I mean, we've absolutely entered. Like, I mean, there's just way too many games that you have to play that you do not have enough time for. It's actually impossible right now.
Yeah.
There's no way you could have played all of the really good stuff to completion and at depth. Which is a nice problem to have, but it's a wild amount of pressure if you're a gamer. Nice problem to have.
I do want to play Lies of P when it comes out, and I want to play Mortal Kombat when it comes out. But this is like you said, it's just so much. I don't know.
Well, I guess technically it's when does Mortal Kombat come out? Is that the 19th?
There's an early access, was why that's confusing, I think.
Is there an early access for
it?
Look, I do not need to get the early access for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, I know Lies of P and Mortal Kombat was the same day, but if both have early access, then I don't know if that changes it or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I can, because Mortal Kombat for me is very much a game where I just looking forward to playing through the story mode. Maybe I'll mess around with some of the arcade stuff or some of their like side content, but I'm very unlikely to play that online for long periods of time like I do with Street Fighter.
Yeah, they're both September 19th, but it's September 14th for the whole early access stuff.
You don't have to like support NetherRealm Studios by buying your copy. Like the best selling fighting game by a long shot every year. So you can wait on that one.
You're saying don't buy the game, Briar.
I am saying buy the game when you can afford it or when you got time to play it. How many games do I have that are just unopened because like I bought it and I just never got around to playing it? Pikmin.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Shame on you.
Pikmin.
I still got to finish Pikmin though, so got to take some more plane rides.
We are so close to Lies of P. I can't wait. It's next week. Next Saturday is early access.
Okay. So wait, Lies of P does have early access as well.
On the 16th. Yeah.
The 16th, okay.
Which is a Saturday. Which is I don't think I've ever played a new release on a Saturday. Oh. So it's like a Friday or a Thursday.
So it comes out 16th. What date? And it comes out the 19th if you don't get early access. So it's 3 days.
Yeah, which is the same day as MK.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lies of P is interesting, right? So you get 72 hours early access, and then you get some cosmetics. Yep. I'm reading on their page. Yeah. So it's literally just an extra $10 for that. So it's more that extra support in that case. Which that's a perfect example. I'm like, I think we don't get enough of those games, and it looks like they're doing a pretty solid job. So
man, yeah, they've put out some videos of like different areas showing some different enemies, different weapons, and I'm just like, this game is gonna be an incredible one. It just looks so clean, and something that a lot of kind of Souls-like games fall short on, especially compared to FromSoft, is their just area design. It's always like, it's fine, but it's not great. And Lies of P, at least in the demo, had kind of nailed that. It was really good. So I can't wait. One of my most highly anticipated
Lords
games
of the Fallen,
for sure.
right?
Yep.
I think
Lords of the Fallen? For Lies of P, I'm a little bit more excited just because I know the combat's good. I've played it. I know it's good. I know it runs perfectly.
Also, it's got kind of an original kind of setting as opposed to Lord of the Fallen.
Yeah, it's Pinocchio. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what they do with the lying mechanic, and I definitely would want to play the game.
I'm telling you right now.
What do you mean? He's your friend.
Fuck
that
cricket.
You. What's wrong with the cricket?
Troublemaker.
He's like the one good
He's always
guy.
talking in my ear, get me in trouble.
He's the one good guy in the game. I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind.
Yeah, you were basically just saying you already know that it plays well.
I do know that it plays well.
We don't know about Lords of the Fallen yet, but
yeah, I don't know how it plays, don't know how it runs. So Lies of P I know runs perfectly.
Too much. And then like Cyberpunk. There was a lot of info at Gamescom, and that's looking just like awesome. Full 2.0.
That? Is that November?
No, it's the end of this month. It's like September 26th or something like that. What is the date? I'm trying to look it up. But yeah, it's full Cyberpunk 2.0 updates to all the leveling systems. There's new perk systems, new cop behavior, new AI, and then of course Phantom Liberty is on top of that. And they did confirm that you can just jump straight to Phantom Liberty if you want. It takes place somewhere in the middle of the main story there, but
oh really?
So you can do it either way. But you can jump straight to it if you want. I think a lot of people give in the details of like it's a full revamp. Like for me, I never finished it. It's going to be nice to come back to on an upgraded PC and just be like, oh, experience it. I think the way that it was intended to be. It took 2 years extra.
That broken game. I loved it. Like I really did. I loved it. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to see what they did. I can't wait to play more stories too.
Yeah, September 26th on. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. It is absolutely nuts.
Right?
Thank God for Alan Wake team giving us till they delayed it till October 27th for Alan Wake 2, which was going to collide with Super Mario Brothers Wonder and Spider-Man, which are October 20th. So
I'm not intending on playing Spider-Man at all, but I do want to play Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
That was a reveal too that happened.
Yeah, I do like the 2D Mario Brothers games, like the newer ones, like the new Super Mario Brothers games that everybody hates. I love them. I think they're great. They're so like whimsical and fun.
Yeah, I mean, this one looks like full tilt in. I thought it looked really good at the Nintendo Direct. It's what you expect, but there's a lot of like new power-up stuff and just mechanic after mechanic of, like basically the premise is like, at least around the Wonder Flowers alone, of like you I don't know if you eat or touch a Wonder Flower and then wonder what's going to happen, and then you trip out, and basically there's all these different effects that could happen. They have like a top-down switch perspective view. They got like the world's tilted. They got all sorts of stuff that happens, and that's not even including there's new enemies, there's new power-ups and stuff. So it looks awesome if you're in on that style. It's not just it's a shiny new Super Mario Brothers. It's literally, we've also gone full tilt on all our learnings, and so I think that game's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Hopefully it runs at 60. It looked like it was in the footage, except I could count on 2 hands at least, unfortunately, the amount of slowdown and frame rate issues I saw. So not finished, don't know, but given the way Nintendo does stuff, I would think it is finished. I don't know.
I'll just run it in a Switch emulator on my Steam Deck.
Yeah, hey, if that works, I mean, it's come to that, and it's an important thing to bring up, because it's like, man, the Switch 2 is just, or whatever it's going to be
right around the corner, right?
We don't. I mean, it should be, but it's so long overdue. On the plus side, I mean, there's been a lot of more rumors about potentially it's going to use frame generation, and we've been talking about that for a while. Of like,
but Nintendo's now talking about it, aren't they? Like,
no.
Oh, they haven't. Oh man.
The only thing they have said is it will not release in this fiscal year. So we know that it will not come out before April 1st of 2024. So sometime after that, if it does, there's been rumors. Yeah, that would be awesome, right? Come out with a brand new Mario, Zelda running on frame gen at 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
What's going on with Metroid Prime 4? It's going to be a pretty exciting time. I don't know how verified these rumors are, how good the leaker is, but there was talk of, I don't know if it was Final Fantasy VII, what's the new one called? Reborn?
On Switch?
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yeah, but there was rumors that it was running on it and looked almost as good it might have been remake period, but either way. But those were unverified rumors. I don't know. But I would expect it. I would expect it at this point to use it, whether. Yeah, it's AMD has frame generation coming with their FSR 3, I think, then DLSS 3.5, and 3 is just getting to the point where if it's got the hardware, that would be the smartest thing Nintendo could do. Because finally getting to the point where... Yeah, but the fact that we know they're not going to spend a bunch of money on the hardware, so they can just get to the point of like it does basic 1080p, let's call it, frame gen. And it's interesting that a lot of frame generation and DLSS type stuff is not made for lower resolution like that, but I mean, I assume if they work, because
it looks bad.
Yeah, it's just bad. It's meant.
It's oddly like the lower resolution your monitor is, or like what you're looking at, the worse that kind of stuff looks. It looks awesome.
It's
at
less
4K.
to work with.
Yeah, but like, if you're up resing like 480 to 1080, it turns into a real fuzzy mess.
Yeah,
and it's the same with the frames. Doing that with Cyberpunk. I was like, ooh, that looks bad.
Yeah. And it's the same with the frame gen, apparently, is that you want it to be more in the like 60 to 80 frames, bringing you to 100 or 120, not in the 30 to 40, bringing you to 60, apparently.
Or in the case of Nintendo 15 or 20.
Yeah. But as the tech changes, it's getting better. So either way, I'm optimistic about that, whether those rumors are true. I mean, I think you can count on two things next year, and you can go out. And again, these could be, I don't want to discount these rumors, but I'm like, you can make up these, right? You can tell me when GTA 6 is launching, and it's going to be, come on, it's going to be next year. You can tell me when the Switch 2 is going to launch. Like, you'd probably be pretty close to guessing right at this point.
Do you think the Switch 2 will launch in spring, or do you think they'll wait till fall?
I'm going to say spring.
I hope it's spring.
Yeah, I believed it to be like spring and early summer kind of vibe again, like to kind of match. But there has been a lot of talk about hardware supply and stuff, and I wonder if that's part of the issue. And I mean, they've managed their way through it. I mean, Zelda, I would forget if it was like a 15% increase in sales, even though that sales are declining. Like Zelda brought it up again. I mean, there are over 100 million Switches sold. So
insane.
Their only pressure is they got to impress the investors. It's not like Nintendo doesn't make hand over fist right now. So they're just trying to keep investors happy. So that's what it's going to come down to, I think, of we got to kind of push it out early, or can we get them to hang in there till fall or something like that. But,
yeah, I always like a spring release so that you kind of have like the hardcore get their consoles, and then you get the Christmas in like kind of a separate buying season. Yeah, as opposed to like the PS5 and the Xbox, this generation was just a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah. Totally. I really do hope it launched that. And again, it's like long overdue. Like imagine if that is your main console, that you stuck with it. I mean, it's really
you saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're eating good. I mean,
as long as you didn't buy 3
games on the Switch.
Yeah.
There have been good games, yeah.
But still, it's like you're playing, the point is it's running its course in terms of technology and all that.
It did when it launched. It was already behind.
Yep. Over 6 years later. It's crazy how long they made it last, though. So good for them.
I have a copy of Mortal Kombat 11 for the Switch, and it is insane how bad that game looks. And I was just watching the trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, and at the end they're like, coming for the Switch. I'm like, oh my god, because Mortal Kombat 1 looks even better than Mortal Kombat 11 on everything else. I might buy it on Switch just to see.
Yeah, I really hope Super Mario Brothers Wonder does not suffer from slowdown and frame rate issues. Again, it had a couple things and it's more unknown, but also a couple final tests on that one are going to be, they're porting Batman Arkham trilogy, which is just an amazing trilogy, and I hope it runs well overall. And then I don't think Hogwarts is out yet, and that's going to be a really good test because that thing looked good, but man, it had a lot of performance issues on the other console. So let's see. I really want to see a Digital Foundry review of that stuff on Switch. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch the one on Starfield because I know they run on the Xbox. I was wondering how it's running on an Xbox. I know it's running 30 FPS, but if it holds 30 FPS, I can see this being a game, no problem, 30 FPS.
I think reports have been good, although there's been reports of crashing. I saw some people in chat talking about it, and I had a few people in my Discord talking about it. So I don't know how rampant it is, but they were having like crashes on their Xbox. I've had none on PC.
No crashes.
Crashes. Not ship crashes, but no bug crashes.
Should we wrap this one up?
I think so.
All right.
This week there's, well, no, I guess that's next week, but I will be playing a new game on next Monday called Eternites. They bumped up their release date, which was great because it was like launching, I think, just after Lies of P, and I was like, damn it, I won't be able to play it. But this game is one that I really didn't expect much from, because it's like the anime dating sim hack and slash, like post-apocalyptic world game, and I was like, it looks cool.
Yeah, that's a lot of things.
I did not know what to expect from it. Didn't expect to really be into it at all, but we played the demo of it and everyone loved it. I loved it. Just the writing is really good. The characters are really funny. The combat's actually super good. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Is it all real time third person like sword combat type stuff, or?
Yeah, it's action RPG combat.
Oh, okay, cool. I was wondering if it had like Final Fantasy VII remake type stuff in it, but I was just watching stuff. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play. That comes out on Tuesday, but I'm gonna be playing it on Monday, and I'm kind of excited for it because I was laughing. It made me laugh a lot. I was laughing a lot playing the demo, so I'm excited.
I'll probably just play some more Starfield, and then yeah, I don't know if there's anything in the next week. That's the decision to make. Like, I mean, I would like to check out Blasphemous, but I'm afraid I'm going to suffer from what Briar's talking about. I'm already so many games that I'm like, I haven't just.
But Fran, if you don't buy it today, they won't make another one.
You do make a really good point. No, I mean, honestly, maybe I need to check it out.
Just buy 5 or 6 copies. Just, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'll just be like you. I'll just buy it and I'll never play it. You know,
it's
like
not
Pikmin,
intentional. You have every intention of playing.
A few hours on Pikmin, bro. Come on. Nah, but yeah, I can see like you missed your window.
Oh yeah,
you talked about it, and you played Street Fighter. That was the problem, and I respect it.
I played Street Fighter.
I can't blame you. Like, you're always gonna look back on 2023 and be like, man, Street Fighter in the summer was dope.
Fucking awesome.
But you're gonna remember. Yeah. So I'm never gonna let you live it down. You know, we're gonna be at PAX in the future, getting some dates.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Wow, what an ending. You cut me off at the worst possible opportunity.